So today we are on to the 14th day of the Bhagavad Gita for adults, 7 p.m. English 41st batch. And this is coming from the beautiful Sri Radha Govinda temple and continuing our journey. Let's just look at these beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govinda temple and pay our respectful obeisances and seek their blessings so that we are doing a good understanding of chapter 14 as per exactly the parampara. I do not want to do anything which is, do not want to say anything which is out of parampara. So I want to follow whatever my guru has taught me and not speak anything other than that. So I seek their blessings of my gurus. Om Ajnana Timran Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmeelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I hope that Amit Prabhu and Nidhi Mataji, I think definitely must be chanting. Ankul Prabhu, Advait Prabhu has joined us today. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. And I hope that you all are into chanting as we have moved into our 14th day today. Paying my respectful obeisances to founder Acharya of ISKCON, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness, His disciple, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, and His disciple, Temple President, His Grace Namanishtha Das Prabhu. So, and above all, for me personally, my Guru, Aishwarya Mataji, she is my Bhakti Shastri teacher, and she's the one who has placed a faith that I will be able to deliver this class, and I will try my best to do justice on her faith. So we are into chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, and this chapter is all about nature, because nature has these three gunas. Gunatraya. Gunatraya is three gunas. So the nature is made up of these three gunas. Vibhaga, that is divided. Yoga. So when you understand yoga is union, when you understand that, you know, this whole universe, material universe is composed of these three gunas, and then you are able to rise above it, transcend the three gunas, that is when you will, start your journey to the actual spiritual home where we actually belong. So Maya, that is the Devi. Now we are celebrating Durga Devi. Durga itself means, the castle. So she is the one who is protector of this material world. And she has been given the responsibility by Krishna to, keep the people in this material world engaged with the three modes. Why? Why is she doing that? That's because under the directions of the Lord, she is maintaining the people here, keeping them bound, not allowing them to think of Krishna. Why? Because they have chosen not to. Krishna will never force anybody that you have to surrender onto me. He will never force. But by choice, we have all been like criminals. That's why we have been thrown into this material world where we are supposed to undergo the punishment. It's actually a dukhalayam which has been mentioned so many scriptures. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna clearly says that this whole material world is actually a dukhalayam simply because it has birth, death, old age, and disease, which are non-existent in the spiritual world. And we are spirit souls, and our true home is the spiritual world. So the whole material world is taken care of by Maya, and she's composed of these three gunas. She is the one who keeps us from going to Krishna. Why? Because we have chosen to be like that. We have been disobedient. And so she binds us with the ropes of the modes of material nature, and we become conditioned by the habits we develop based on the different modes that we focus upon. The three modes are there in the nature, and the modes that we allow ourselves to be influenced by more, that mode will have more control over us. So, and then when we, by Krishna's grace, when we start understanding that this material world is actually not the place where we belong, and we start understanding our real position, which is a part and parcel of Krishna, and that Krishna is our father, our mother, our grandfather, our great-grand. He is actually the origin of the whole universe. He is the cause of all causes, and he really loves us and wants us to go back. When we come to this position, that is when Gita comes to, comes into our life. And Bhagavad Gita is a word of the Lord himself. And only when we have faith, we can understand. I had said earlier also, if you don't have faith and you try to understand the Gita, if you don't believe in Krishna and you don't love Krishna and you don't develop that bhakti and love towards the Lord of the universe, and you know he's there, at least you may not have really realized yourself, but then you will be able to relish Gita, then Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. You will be able to enjoy, and that nectar is amazing. Then you're actually opening the bottle of honey and really getting the taste of it. Otherwise, if you don't have the belief and you don't understand Krishna, or you don't want to look at his words and you don't want to see him as a Lord, then it will be as if you're licking the outer side of a bottle of honey, You will get no taste. You will not understand a word. Just as Dhritarashtra, he saw the Lord himself, he heard the whole Gita from Sanjay, but he did not understand a word because he was blinded with attachment and lust. So as long as we are covered with lust, as long as we are, conditioned and we keep ourselves allowed by material nature to bind us with the three modes, we will be in this jail. And we will continue taking births and deaths non-stop according to our karmas and our, the gunas that are predominant in us and our desires and Krishna's sanction. We will continuously be stuck in this jail. So we need to understand that Krishna is there in the spiritual world. He is the spirit soul. He is calling us back in the Bhagavad Gita, and how to do it, he is telling us in detail. Most important, how to do it, to be in the association of devotees. Second is books. Read the books written by devotees. Third is chant. The Yuga Dharma is to chant every day. Sit and chant at least 108 times. That is one mala. If you don't have a mala, see if you can go to an ISKCON temple and get one japa mala. And if you have, great. Or if you don't want to immediately start chanting on a mala, actually chanting on a mala is very beautiful. But if you don't have one and you don't want to buy one, you can just count on your fingers 108, whatever way you want. Some people count 10 and then, take 1 and then 10 and then 2 and then that's how they do 100 and then 8. You can do that. Otherwise, there are some small counters available in the temple. So you can also do that. But try to chant every day because chanting is miraculous. So many people have been transformed and understood bhakti only through chanting around the world because it is a yuga dharma. And finally, you need to take care of your diet. Try your best to eat only Krishna Prasada. At least whatever you're eating, if it is vegetarian, you need not transform into non-veg from non-veg to veg immediately. I don't know about all of you, how many of you are veg, how many of you are non-veg, but if you're a non-veg, at least whatever is veg that you're eating, try to just offer it to Krishna and then pray and thank him and then take it. And if you're cooking something without onion and garlic, offer it to Krishna, pray, thank him. Otherwise, at least put some patram phalam, pushpam, patram phalam, pushpam, toyam. These 4 things, put little bit, offer it every day and you can receive that. So the best way to become Krishnaized or to start understanding Krishna is to have Krishna Prasadam. So these are the ABCDs of devotional service. That's the way for you to develop a close, direct relationship to the person who is Krishna. Because Krishna is a person. He's pervading the whole universe, but he is neutral. And he's there in the spiritual world. And yet he has, not a single blade of grass on this earth or in the whole material world will move without his knowledge. He knows everything. So what do we have to simply do to start building a relationship and start understanding, that in the spiritual world, we have this dear relationship with him, is to do these 4 things, A, B, C, D. A, for association. Try your best to be in the association of devotees. B, try to read every day some part of either the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. Try to get these books and read. It should be from the proper source. Don't read the Gita which is written by anyone, because many of them, they explain the whole Gita without even saying once that Krishna is the Lord. Can you beat it? Every other shloka says, I am the Lord, Krishna is saying, and then they will say that Krishna is actually just a person who's written some philosophy, and then they'll only talk about the philosophy. The whole essence of Gita is lost, and you'll be just doing stupid mental speculation with stupid brain with academic people who are just trying to manipulate and do some nonsense with the Gita. So try to only read books which are written by, in today's world, the best books are those written by Srila Prabhupada. So pick up some books and start reading. A is association, B is book, C is chant. Every day, please chant. And D is diet. Try to follow. You at least have prasad, some prasad every day. Slowly, your taste for prasad will increase. And when you get the higher taste, automatically, slowly, the lower taste will diminish. You don't even have to work for it. So just happen automatically. So let's quickly proceed. So the Maya, she binds us with the ropes of modes of material nature. And then only when we start becoming pure, if you do these ABCDs, then it'll be amazing. This effect of these ropes pulling you will gradually diminish. Maya will have no more control over you. She will not be able to pull you and push you and through these ropes and try to get you stuck in this world. She will have to release you, because after that, Yoga Maya, which is in the spiritual world, she will take over and she will make you more and more attached to Krishna. Once you turn your face, your soul is there inside. I showed you yesterday. When you turn and you start looking at Krishna, then you will be attracted so much, you will not be able to move your face away. You'll be attracted. Krishna will take you. And with, and with the help of Yoga Maya, you will be attracted more and more to Krishna, and you will at last reach the ultimate goal of human life, which is reaching Krishna Loka. That is the highest goal. So bhakti is the highest goal, which will easily take you to the Krishna Loka. And then the power of Maya over you will go, right? So then you're no more bound. You become free. You will, whenever the soul, even when your soul is within the body itself, you'll become free. You'll already be in Vaikuntha. And any bhakta will immediately reach Vaikuntha, not different Svargalokas or different, Narakalokas or the earth. They will go straight up to Vaikuntha. And at the feet of Krishna will be so much in bliss that you'll never have to come back. There'll be no more birth and death. All these manifestation, non-manifestation happening when Brahma is sleeping, and there is a everything goes, gets in the unmanifest form. Again, after one Brahma's lifetime is over, again, there's a big, kind of pralaya where everything gets destroyed. And then again, everything gets manifested, not destroyed, a non-manifest state. And again, it comes back and becomes manifest and starts off its journey exactly where it was. This whole big cycle, endless. You'll be free from that, You'll be in that timeless, beautiful, pure, joyful, blissful state you will be, which is what is the goal of human life, not simply to, like I told you yesterday, eat, sleep, mate, and defend. You have to rise above that. When you understand that, our purpose is to go back to Krishna. So in chapter 3, we understood what is a living entity, what is Prakriti, why are we here? It's because we are of our desire to enjoy separate from Krishna. So here there's a picture of Ravi Chirag Prabhu. This is from level 2 slide. And I've picked up a lot of slides from different places. So this is from chapter 14. Now in chapter 14, what are we going to understand? We're going to understand the 3 modes of material nature. We're going to understand how these modes work. And we're going to see how they bind us, the jiva. And we will also see how they can be destroyed. How can we, stop being influenced by the modes of nature? How we can cut off these binding, these ropes. It is only by Krishna Bhakta. Right? So this is what we will see. And, actually Ravi Prabhu has also made such a beautiful, what is it called? Acronym for this chapter. He says that this, material world, the Maya, is actually a trap. It's trapping us. And he gives a full form for it. T for 3 modes, R for race for prominence. Whose race? The 3 modes are racing against each other. They're pulling us towards it. Each mode wants us to become more of that. Sattvagun wants us to be more of a sattvic person. The Rajogun wants us to be Rajsik. The Tamogun wants us to be in the tamasic mode. So these three modes are having a race. And actions in the modes. What are the different kinds of actions people do when they're influenced by, when they're under the influence of any particular mode? And finally, what is Shuddh Sattva Gun when we are above all the three modes? So these are the basic things. And this is a Namnishta Prabhu's class. His, division of chapters is basically similar only. Everything is similar, just slight differences. 14 to 1 to 13 is conditioning of the soul, then effect of conditioning, and then transcending the gunas. So what is Maya? She's a kind of force. She is the Shakti actually. She's a Shakti of the Shaktiman. So she is the, basically Maya is Durga Devi, and she's a Shakti of the Lord. So the Lord is the Shaktiman and Maya is a Shakti, one of the energies. In the material world, the Shakti of the Lord is in the form of Maya. And she is made up of Satto, Rajo and Tamo Guna. And if you are in the Sattva Gun, then there's actually very little Maya's influence. You are already, escaped. You have already learned how to, stay free from Maya, but still little bit is there. Rajo Gun, there's some more Maya. And Tamo Gun, people are totally under the influence of Maya, which is, and what is her duty? Her duty is to bind us to this world. Because why? Not because she wants to, she wants to hurt us or something. It's simply because it is the instruction of the Lord. And she has to follow the instructions to keep us here as long as we are, having this lust within us. So she keeps us here as long as she will keep us from, reaching the spiritual world, because her duty is to ensure that we slowly, elevate ourselves. Now, before we can begin with 14.1, can anybody tell me if you know who are these 9 sages? Anybody knows? Today, Bharati Mataji is also here. Hare Krishna, Ananya Mataji, Kiran Kumar, Prabhuji. Anybody
Mataji,
knows who are these 9 sages?
Mataji, I'm sorry. I'm driving, so I'm hearing, but I cannot take part.
Oh, no problem, Bharati Mataji. But it's very nice that
Thank
you're
you
still,
so
in
much.
spite of driving, you want to listen. I'm so thankful for that. All right.
Sorry, Mataji.
Yeah. Hope, you will enjoy listening to this chapter 14. So who are these 9
Mataji,
sages?
is it the 9? Is it 9 process of bhakti, right? Starting from Shravanam Kirtanam, am
Yes,
I right?
Mataji. Those are the 9 types of bhakti, which is Shravanam Kirtanam. Now here in the chapter 14, in the beginning, we are looking at these Nava Yogendras. So Nava Yogendras are, 9 sages who are very famous, and they are Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Dravida, Chamasa, and Karabhajana. So these are the 9 sages whom King Nimi, called upon, because he wanted the answer to understanding what are incarnations of Vishnu. So, and here we have a reference of these sages, because in chapter 14, when 14 begins in the first verse, where the God says, the Krishna says, again I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom. So Krishna is, patiently again, because he knows we are not going to get it in one shot. So he again and again he's declaring, and he's telling you, I'm going to tell you the supreme wisdom, which is the best of knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained supreme perfection. So sages who have attained supreme perfection, they have attained it only because they know this wisdom, the most confidential wisdom, they have got it. So, and these 9, when these 9 sages have predicted that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is going to come, he's actually the Lord's incarnation, and he has come to show us how a devotee is supposed to lead his life. So, quickly, we'll do a little bit of understanding of who Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. In Srimad Bhagavatam also, there is a reference of his appearance. It is said, that this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Varnam Tviksha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajnehi Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasa. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Saheli Mataji is also here today. Yeah. So, in this verse, we are seeing that in the age of Kali, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 tells us that in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. So this is clearly a reference to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Kali Yuga, there's going to be congregational chanting. It's going to be led by by Krishna's incarnation. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates and servants and weapons and confidential companions. Actually, you finish reading the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, go and start reading Bhagavatam, and then start reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. Slowly, you'll be amazed to see that so many important people who are there with Krishna in his when he came to the earth during that period. Same people, same devotees, they again appear along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they all engage in leelas. It's so beautiful to listen to devotees explaining the Chaitanya Charitamrita and also the Srimad Bhagavatam. So if even a little bit you are enjoying the taste of this Bhagavad Gita, I request all of you to start engaging yourself in listening to Srimad Bhagavatam discourses from great devotees. We have Namnishna Prabhu of the temple. Every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, he discusses a verse from the Bhagavatam. It is so nice to listen. Unfortunately, I'm a school teacher, so I'm not able to listen to the live one. But whenever I get time, I quickly go and catch up and listen to his, Bhagavatam. This is Namnishna Prabhu, by the way. This is a screenshot from his class I had taken. So he gives very beautiful discussion. Also, we have Aishwarya Mataji sometimes doing it, the Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita also we have different timings. So please stay in touch with the temple, different Zoom meetings, and you will also find many beautiful the discourses about Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhagavatam from very elevated devotees of ISKCON. So please continue that. Listening to that. So, Gita is very nice, but please move on and also read Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? It is given in, it is mentioned in Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam also mentions that Channa Kalo Yad Abhavas Triyugo Tasatvam. Hidden nature of Supreme Lord will appear in the Kali Yuga. So actually, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown his full form to one of his devotees. So there is not that he is completely hidden. Although he actually appears as a devotee, so he generally doesn't talk about himself as a Lord at all, not like Krishna who reveals that I am the Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in the form of a pure devotee. So he is wanting to enjoy the bliss of a devotee. That is why he will not be saying I am the Lord, but then he has shown the Vishwarupa to one of his devotees. So then here we can see in another reference where the Supreme Lord says, Aham Purno Bhavishyami Yuga Sandhyo Visheshata Maya Pure Navadvipe. He even said where he will come. Bhavishyami Shachi Sut. Even the mother's name is given. It's amazing. The scriptures are actually amazing. It says, I will take birth. Krishna is saying, I will take birth as a son of Sachi in Navadvip Mayapur, and I will come in my complete spiritual form in the first part of Kali Yuga. Then many people say, who is saying all this? But then they will not actually sit and listen to the script. They can't open the scriptures by themselves and read. Somebody who has learned the scriptures in and out and is a pure devotee is telling you, still they will, they will say, oh, I don't know. They're not able to believe. If you just, have faith that these words are coming from the scriptures and the scriptures are being translated by highly elevated devotees for us. So let us, listen. So this is, again, we can see in this scripture also, there's a reference of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the same Garuda Purana also it is stated, in the first part of Kali Yuga, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will come in a gold-like form. Kali Prathama Sandhyayam Lakshmi Kanto Bhavishyati. Daru Brahma Samipasta Sannyasi Gaura Vigraha. And he will become the husband. First, he will become the husband of Lakshmi. Then he will become a sannyasi near Lord Jagannatha, who will appear in a divine wooden form. It's absolutely so clearly given. The prediction is predicted. Narasimha Purana also predicts Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is in Satya Yuga, appeared as half man and half lion, and then to cure a terrible disease that had ravaged the Daityas. And then in Treta Yuga appeared as Rama, the person who defeated the 10-headed demon Ravana. So the same person is coming, and who in the Dwapara Yuga removed the earth's burden and protected the Gopa people of Rajapura, will come again in the Kali Yuga. So actually, as soon as Krishna leaves his body here, this transcendental body, of course, Krishna is not a person, he's transcendental. He comes in his original form to the earth, and then he's doing the leelas. He's just pretending to be a human being. And so people just think, those who are stupid, who can't see Krishna, who are blinded by lust, they couldn't make out. But then those who are pure devotees, of course, they knew that he's a Lord. So when he leaves this earth at that point of time, Kali Yuga starts. And then it is predicted clearly that although Kalki will come after so many more years, the Kali Yuga is some 4,32,000 and only some 5,000 years have already passed and so much is left. Now, in the Kali Yuga, it is clearly mentioned that once more the Lord will come in the form of a golden, he'll be golden to look at. And actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was golden, literally, he was shining. He was very beautiful and he will delight in chanting the Lord's holy names and his name will be Chaitanya. It's, I can't really imagine how perfect the scriptures are in all these things. Even Chanakya's birth was predicted in the scriptures. I shall appear on this earth in the first part of the Kali Yuga in a beautiful place on the bank of Bhagirathi. I shall have a golden form and I shall take the birth of the son of Sachi is also given in other scriptures. So I think this is in the Atharva Veda also, Supreme Personality, I will descend on the earth after passage of 4,000 years in the Kali, 4,000 years in Kali Yuga, and before the passage of 5,000 years, I will come on the earth on the bank of Ganges. I'll be a tall, saintly devotee. I will have auspicious symptoms. I will exhibit renunciation. I'll be a devotee practicing Bhakti Yoga. So, this is just, I wanted to, go in chapter 14 itself, Namnishta Prabhu in one of the classes had explained all this. Why? Because in 14.1, there's a reference of sages. And these sages, the sages here, we can see in this picture again, these are the 9 sages. They have also predicted to King Nimi when he had asked about the incarnations that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be also coming. So, along with understanding Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, closer to that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, we can also, all of us as devotees, I have also not read Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully, but I love listening to it here and there whenever I get time. And I do want to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life better and take up Sankirtan, be a part of the Sankirtan movement by ISKCON. And ISKCON, Prabhupada has clearly said, I have not started this. It is something which I'm just continuing what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has started. So the 14.1 says, again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which the sages have attained supreme perfection. Sages understand everything because they are meditating. Once you're in pure bhakti, the jnana will come by itself. That is why they get the jnana and they understand so many things. They don't need to refer. The knowledge comes, descends upon them. How? Because Krishna will, as a lamp, appear and brighten. Everything which is in the dark gets brightened up. Simply because he, we are inviting him to our hearts and then he starts lighting the lamp of knowledge when we have bhakti. In 14.2, Bhagavad Gita, it says, Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. So by becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution, which I already mentioned in the beginning of this chapter. So here we can see the, one of the, even in the, Vaikuntha Loka, even in the spiritual planet, there are so many spiritual planets. Like there's one for Narayana. So Narayana, he is like, he'll be seated like a king. He won't be like Krishna who comes around and plays and he's very close relationship. Narayana will be like, they're like a king and people will be doing devotional service. They will enjoy that. That is the kind of thing that happens where Narayana is there. But that's also spiritual. It's not material. Now, let's look at a question. I would like some of you to just help me with this by just answering. Do you think that we have evolved, as some of the scientists say, there was a big bang and then the earth happened and then some chemicals came together and then somehow, when amoeba happened and then it became into, it evolved and that is how we are created, or do you think that we are created by the Lord? Anybody would like to answer this question? No one? Yes, Amit Prabhu, you have unmuted.
Yes, Mataji, I think we are created by Lord only.
Yes, that is true, Prabhuji. Actually, when you read the Bhagavad Gita and you read the scriptures, only we come to know that we are created by Lord. In fact, when Charles Darwin, when he propounded this theory, this is just a theory, they think it up. And then even scientists have, found it difficult to believe that how can, just like that, things can happen and evolve. It can't. It has to be by the It has to be by a creator, you know. Nothing can just like that happen without somebody who has created. So yes, in 14.3, Krishna is saying the total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth. And it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. So the Lord doesn't need to, you know, impregnate in any, you know, in any physical way. It's not needed by the Lord. With one glance, he can impregnate, right? And he can create these living beings with just a glance. That's it. Because like I said before, his body is transcendental. All the parts of his body can do the function of all the parts. It's a transcendental body. And what does he do? Maya, that is a material nature, he just looks at her, and then all the different souls, as per their previous, after the pralaya happens, whatever they were in the state when the pralaya happened, based on their previous karmas or their previous desires, they will all take birth and get the respective bodies accordingly. So that is how this world keeps coming and going. And then the whole thing is the material world is created only for us who are criminals in the spiritual world. We have not followed the rules. We have wanted to enjoy, away from Krishna. We have at some point felt some kind of envy towards Krishna. And once we come and then we are into this material world, and we have seen how we go through all the different yonis. We start with whatever it is. There are 4 lakh. There are 882, I think so. Lakh of them. We'll come to that slide. After going through all of them, at last we get a human birth. And then also not one human birth. We have to go through many, many human births till the Gita, Krishna has with his grace, we start understanding the Gita, and then we begin our journey. There's a beautiful shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which I don't remember. I was trying to learn it, but I haven't learned it yet, about the beej, the beej, Bhakti Lata beej. That seed of devotion gets given to us by Guru and Krishna's kripa. And once that seed comes, we water it. How do we water it? With ABCD. I told you in the beginning of today's class, with association, books by Srila Prabhupada, and by C, which is chanting, and by D, which is diet. So we water the seed with all these things, with our devotional service. We establish a relationship, and then it starts growing, and it reaches out of the material world. It takes us out of the material world. We reach the spiritual world. There, initially, we will be in that effulgence. And then, if we keep on watering this plant with our chanting, the Bhakti Lata beej will go and reach the Vaikuntha Loka. It will reach at Krishna's feet, where we realize we have reached our destination, and that is where we will stay in the extremely blissful condition. And because we have seen the material world, we will never, Krishna says that now you will never come back. Once you have understood bhakti and we reach there, we are not going to be coming back. We are not going to come back to the circle of birth and death. And the spiritual world is huge, much huger than the material world as per scriptures. And so it's got so many planets and so many spiritual planets, and the spiritual world is amazing, it seems. So we will be looking at it in chapter 15 tomorrow, 15 and 16, and we will see there's a description of the spiritual world, which is so nice. So in this verse, Krishna is saying, even in 14.14, Krishna says it should be understood. See, nobody says it so clearly. Krishna is telling us so clearly. It should be understood that all the species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible, by birth in this material nature. And that I am the seed-giving father. That is why once we take initiation, right, we put this Kanthi Mala, we put this Tulsi Mala. Once we put this Tulsi Mala, Tulsi is, is a great devotee. She will help us go back to Krishna. So if any of you are not wearing a Kanthi Mala, it's, you can eventually, once you can take a decision and start wearing Kunti Mala, you can wear Tilak, you can, and then, slowly you will be guided by some guru who will teach you how to take initiation, or go to level 2, level 3, move on, start chanting, and you can increase your bhakti. And then what happens is that when you take initiation, basically, it's like a new birth. You will accept that the Lord of the universe, or Krishna, as your father, and then you will accept your mother to be the scriptures. And then you are, taking, the mother will guide you to the father. And of course, a guru is also a representative of the Lord himself. So the guru will be the one who is going to guide you and show you Krishna along with scriptures. So then it is that your journey will become easy. A journey back to Krishna will be, in fact, what do I say about easy? Actually, that is the only way. Krishna mentions very clearly that devotional service is the only way to go back to him. So you are not here by any mere chance. You're here because of because of Krishna's grace and because of many past punyas that you have done. You have been fortunate to be here and listen and partake in this discussion. And I'm also very fortunate to be able to speak about it. And I'm grateful to Krishna, and I hope I can also proceed in my journey. So I had a doubt about the numbers. 84 lakh. There are 84 lakh species in this universe. And it's not like the monkey becomes a man or something. Based on your desire and karma, you get the body. And Krishna has created so many different types of bodies. You don't even know them. So many universes, so many kinnaras and gandharvas, and so many, all in the material world, demigods also. Any different body based on your own desires and karmas and gunas you will get. So we have to take various bodies based on our karmas. It is not just luck. Nothing is coincidental, First of all, that's what we need to understand. What is the purpose of this whole creation? I think I already answered this question. Why did Krishna create this world? Because it's a material world. It is meant for misery. It's a prison house, Nowhere else you will find people telling you this blatant truth on your face. They will keep saying, do good, be happy, do nice things, and be happy. It's not like that. When you attach yourself to Krishna, you will be happy. Nothing else is happiness. It is otherwise pure misery. You think that you have something, you get some joy, and you think that is really happiness. No, it's temporary. Only when you are in one with Krishna, you're in yoga with Krishna, and everything you do, you offer to him, you become a bhakta, that you will experience what is really happiness. Because this world is a dukhalema shashvatam. Jivas are bound in this material world, In 14.5, Krishna says, material nature has three moods, which I already said, goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes here, he immediately starts becoming conditioned by the modes. As soon as you enter the material world because of your desires, you become bound by the three modes. Either you're in Sattva Gun purity, where the Maya's influence is less and you're relatively a little freer and happier, or you're in Rajas, where you are bound by passion, activity, or running after some stupid thing which has actually no meaning, and then you realize, oh my God, I was running after this, and then when you get it, you realize it's not really a source of joy. Then you have ignorance, in which mode you don't have any sense at all. Now these modes will keep on, playing around. And even if you think that, okay, from tamas, I'm Rajogun, or from Rajo, you're in Sattva. Even Sattva is actually just like being an A-class prisoner. So, you shouldn't, of course, you should try to reach Sattva Gun, because from there, freeing from Maya becomes easier, because Maya's influence is minimum there. But then your aim should not be Sattva. Your aim should be Shuddh Sattva, which is above all these three gunas and becoming free from Maya. Actually, we have half an hour, I think, so we can play this video. This is a beautiful play, if you can look at the three modes of material nature play on YouTube, you can see it fully. So here we can see, oh sinless one, the mode of goodness purer than others is illuminating and frees us from sinful reactions. Those who are in the Sattva Gun, they develop knowledge, and then they become conditioned, because they are happy. So they feel that this is nice, and they start being stuck there. They need to rise above. And look at this.
Let's go for a stroll in the countryside. So people, you get away from the archaic elements of the city.
Yeah, so this is a beautiful play which shows the three, modes. Like this a man in the golden gown. He's a Sattva Gun, and he's trying to influence you. He's saying, come, the air is nice. So they love nature. You eat nice, healthy food. You don't eat other food, right? You don't have food of the Rajogun and Tamogun. So when you're in the Sattva Gun mood, Sattvic, mode, when some thought comes into your mind, if you feel that the thought is bad, you will immediately stop it there. You will not even allow the thought to enter your feeling stage, where you dwell on the thought and then you start feeling, an attachment to it. You don't allow it to enter. Whereas good thoughts, you will easily allow it to enter. So sattvic people, they are always maintaining good thoughts, and bad thoughts, they stop it immediately. So what happens? They are happy. So that's why sattvic people are happy, and then they think that, they get stuck sometimes over here. Something on the chat. How much time Lord Krishna took to deliver all the verses of Bhagavad Gita? I think just 45 minutes, Prabhuji. The whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken in a very short time, because in those days Sanskrit was a language and it was very easy, very quickly communicated. But for us to understand, even a lifetime is difficult. Yes. And then let's move on and look at Rajogun. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti. And because of this, one is bound to fruitive activity. So mode of, passion, or Rajogun, is something which will try to make you run after material pleasures. It will say that, don't just try to get knowledge and do the good things. Come on, do anything for the sake of enjoying material pleasure.
After working on your hands. Sunday. Forgot about Susie. You're supposed to be here today. It's this weekend. You know, got one hit.
Yeah, so that is how the Rajogun keeps trying to tempt us. So what happens in the Rajogun? The good thoughts come, the bad thoughts come, and even reach up to the feeling. He likes to think of the bad things which are not, which you're not supposed to do, and he allows it to come to your feeling stage. Then he may stop it after that. And good thoughts, also he doesn't, he's not allowing it to really come into the action state. He's always in a bit of a confusion, and he in fact tries to follow whatever leads him to he's confused, as you can see. He ultimately, sometimes he allows himself to be carried away and do anything for the sake of his material pleasures. Tamogun people, in the mode of ignorance, they are in the delusion of all living entities. It causes delusion for anybody who is in the mode of ignorance, and the result is they will be always mad. They won't know what is to be done. They'll be always lazy, and they'll always be sleepy. They will take drugs, intoxicants. So those who are in the tamogun, they allow bad thoughts to not only they allow it to keep coming, they feel it, and they allow it to destroy their life, and they stop the good thoughts. Any good thoughts come, they quickly prevent it, because they are thinking that they just don't want to think anything good. They don't want to follow the scriptures. They don't want to listen to whatever is good. They cut it there, and then they just they are like mad people basically. So this is Sattvic filters the bad thoughts. The Rajasic allows the bad thoughts, and Tamasic people, they don't allow good thoughts at all. So what are the qualities of a person in Sattva Gun? They are always peaceful and happy. They are active. They work very hard, and they are joyful, and they don't work hard in the sense like running after material pleasures. They're very calm, and they have a lot of creative thinking. They're usually Brahmanas, or they're scientists or philosophers. And why does the material nature bind them? Because they get stuck in the sense of advanced happiness. They have knowledge now, so they feel a sense of superiority, and it's very hard to be humble when they have I know, oh, these people don't know, I know. So when they get the knowledge, they start feeling superiority. And we saw yesterday, one of the main thing required in the process of bhakti is humility. So they lose that humility part of it, and they start being content, and they start becoming too comfortable. They stop realizing that the goal of life is to strive to get away from here. And what are the qualities of a person in Rajogun? They'll be very greedy, over ambitious. They'll be like Like, I think some of us have been, I have also been, where you keep on running after some kind of, material gratification. You're running after certificate, you want to be the topper, and then you want to do something in material world, you want praise, you want honor, like, and then you because of that, you tend to become selfish, you become envious, competitive, hasty. This rat race that you find in the world is all because of this Rajogun. Actually, the earth is mainly a place of Rajogun only. Material enjoyment and sense gratification and money-minded people. And why does it bind them? Because they think that the fruits of work are fulfilling, and then they realize that it's actually not fulfilling and it is never permanent. They want to fulfill their unlimited desires, and so they'll always be irritated. They're willing to even do sin just to fulfill their desires, and so they cannot take up bhakti with determination. They're that desires and lust will keep coming back and disturbing them. They can't take up bhakti. That is why you need to first of all reach Sattvagun so that you can start taking up bhakti. What are the qualities of a person in Tamogun? Lazy, dark, mad, crazy, sleeping most of the time, wanting to sleep all the time. So they actually say that most of us in the Kali Yuga are in Tamogun because, like for example, we're just waiting for a weekend. We want to go for a holiday. We don't want to work. Every Monday morning comes, we get so irritated. And, but of course, not all the things. The ones who have got predominantly Tamogun in them, they are addicted to drinking, drugs, intoxication. They postpone. They keep making plans and postponing. They are almost helpless, confused, fearful, depressed. They're always scared. They're dependent on others for happiness. They don't realize the joy within their heart, which comes through bhakti. And why does material nature bind them? Because they are mad, they're deluded, they don't even want to hear the word Krishna. Forget, listen to the instructions. And performing austerities is far from anything that they can think of. If you're in Sattvagun, you will get up 5 o'clock or before. If you're in Rajogun, around 8 o'clock or around time for you to get for work. And if you're in Tamogun, you would be somebody who gets up really very late because you're not bothered about anything. If you're in, so early morning is a time of goodness. The late morning is the passion, the Rajogun begins. And when you're, the ignorance, the Tamogun is mostly active in the night. So, what are the activities that Sattvagun people do in the early morning? They'll be like chanting and they do devotional service. Rajogun people, they want to enhance their bodies, or they'll do be crazy. Immediately they'll get up and sit and make a PowerPoint for their office, or they'll be so crazily busy and running after something which they don't even know what is actually for. And Tamogun will simply sit and play some video games or something and waste their time. The Sattvagun people will try to read spiritual books. They will try to find out what is the purpose of their life. They will try to recognize their goal. They will read like Bhagavad Gita as it is, like all of us are right now in Sattvagun. The Rajogun people, they will try to read how to get more money and all that, how to go up this corporate ladder. And those who are in the Tamogun, they will read just some other nonsense. And Sattvagun people, they sleep very early because they need to get up early. Rajogun will sleep a little later. Tamogun, though, they will sometimes not even sleep the whole night. They'll just be doing some nonsense. Arjuna asks, does one mode become predominant? Arjuna is wondering. And so the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness. Passion conditions him to fruits, and ignorance to madness. And sometimes the mode of, so there is a race. What is one predominant? Yes. Some people are clearly, you can see, and you can say this is a Tamogun person. You can say this is a Rajogun, you can say this is Sattvagun. But mostly we are a mix. The mode of passion becomes predominant. Sometimes defeating goodness. Sometimes the goodness becomes predominant. Sometimes ignorance. Suppose there's an exam tomorrow and then I'm feeling a little lazy. So, the mode of ignorance has become predominant. So they are always fighting. They're pulling our minds in different directions constantly. The manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. So actually you will start feeling the Sattvagun in you when the knowledge that you're getting by reading the Bhagavad Gita is you feel that you're being illuminated by that. So in this verse 14.12, it's, O chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase of mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering and endeavor will develop. O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and all that will happen. Where will the people in these three modes go after they die? Now in chapter 14, Krishna also tells us where all these people will go. Those who are in a Sattvagun, they will go to higher planets where there are sages. In the higher planets, there are different sorts of higher planets. Some of them, there are more material sense gratification for those who want to enjoy that. Some of them, they enjoy listening and talking about the God, and they're happy with that. So they go to the higher planets where there are, of the sages. And those who are in the Rajogun, they actually take back, they continue their birth in the earth. Mostly they go back into, or if they're in tamogun, they go into the animal kingdom. If they're in the mode of passion, they will take their bodies according to whatever is their passion. So by acting in the mode of goodness, you become pure. Work done in the mode of passion will make you distressed, and work done in the mode of ignorance will result in foolishness. So from the mode of goodness, real knowledge will happen. From the mode of passion, grief, and from the mode of ignorance, foolish. So Krishna explains this so many times. He's explaining to us the what are actually these three gunas and how we should understand them. Again, this is the same thing about where you will go. So you have to make a choice. Do you want to go upwards to towards the higher planet, so that from there it becomes easier to reach the spiritual kingdom, or do you want to dive down back to Rajogun or Tamogun? It's your choice. And this Goloka, this Garbhodaka ocean, and this whole depiction is very beautiful. It's a whole class just to explain this. In fact, there is one Prabhu who has explained the whole this Goloka chart in about many hours, in 2-3 sessions. He has explained it very beautifully. But what we can generally see is that there are many universes. Each universe is in a Garbhodaka ocean. And then from there, we can, where this is the earth in the center, the heavenly planets are up, the hellish planets are down. And we can actually just simply by chanting, we can find our way up, 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 out of the material world, and then we can reach the Krishna Loka. So how do we do that? When you start seeing that there is nothing beyond these modes, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental, you know your spiritual nature, and then you understand that you are actually becoming a victim of your habits, and all these modes are basically, the habits, the conditioning. And then you start realizing how to get away from here. And Krishna tells us to rise from tamasic to rajasic, rajasic to sattvic, but don't stay there. Rise above all, be free, and come back simply by chanting. Then there'll be no more birth, death, old age, or anything. Then Arjuna asks, "Oh my dear Lord, by what symptom is, how do you know that one is in how do we know that a person has become transcendental to the modes? How does he behave? How does he transcend?" So Arjuna wants to understand clearly how he does this. So first of all, if you're not in the bodily or mental identification, you know that I'm not this body, I'm also not this mind. They're in spiritual identification. And the Vedas will actually teach us how to live in this jail comfortably. Like, even in the different people in these materialistic countries, they are forever trying to make their life in this earth very luxurious. They only think of how to make money, how to make their life more comfortable. And they are, they don't learn anything about the spiritual journey back to Godhead. So what does Krishna say? How do we know? So we know that a person is above all this. The Blessed Lord said, "He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present." He doesn't hate anything. Neither does he hate delusion. Neither does he hate illumination. So good things, auspicious things, and inauspicious is equal. Nor longs for them when they disappear. If something good is happening or bad is happening, he doesn't long for them. He is seated like one unconcerned, being situated beyond the material reactions of modes of nature. Like I told you yesterday also, he is beyond the modes of nature. So he knows that everything happening around you is simply a reaction. It's simply a kind of transfer between the different modes and your own past karma and all that. So you're very unattached. And your attachment is to Krishna, because that's where I need to go. Very determined, who remains firm, knowing that the modes alone are active. Only the modes are working, and they're not bothered about whatever happens. They regard pleasure and pain, and they look at a coal or a stone or a piece of gold with an equal eye. They're very wise. Whether you get praised or blamed, it's all same for them. They're unchanged in honor and dishonor. They treat their friends and foes alike. In fact, they don't have any special person for whom they have an attachment, or one towards they have an hatred. They look at everybody alike, and who has abandoned all fruitive undertakings. They stop doing things for their own pleasure. They do only things which they offer to the Lord. So such a person, Krishna says, is transcendental. Then he says that one who engages in full devotional service in all circumstances, that is a person who will transcend material nature. And then he says, "I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is a constitutional position of ultimate happiness." So to come to that Brahman, which is the transcendence or the illumination of the Lord in the spiritual world, that is where your spiritual journey begins, right? You turn on the switch. So these are where you can get books from. And if you're ready to take the next step, this is like you're going to finish 18 days soon. And then when you finish it, go to a detailed study of Bhagavad Gita and level 2, study the Srimad Bhagavatam, study, try to study the different Upanishads which have been written by great devotees. Try to be in interactive sessions and also different materials required. There are separate programs for children also offered by the Bhakti Vriksha, by the, ISKCON. And just a clarification before we proceed, the Yoga Maya is for pure devotees, and in this material world, we are talking about Mahamaya, which is trapping. In this whole chapter, we are talking about 3 modes of material nature, which is the Mahamaya. So, Hare Krishna, let's all make chanting an integral part of our lives. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And you can learn, those who are new, they can learn the Bij mantra, which is what we chant before we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, which is Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Why do we do that? That's because, whenever we are chanting, we may commit offenses. Krishna is so powerful. The moment we say Krishna, the Lord is there on your tongue. And then we let our mind go here and there. We call the God, with his name is so powerful. And then we think of this and that. Oh, I have to cook. Oh, I have this and that. We don't think of Krishna, and we are doing an offense. So to forgive, if we call out the gurus before we chant, that is the Panch Tattva mantra. If we do that, then at least the effect of the offenses that we're doing get diminished, because they take, they help us out of that. So with this, we finish today's class. I hope I've finished on time. Yes, I have finished on time. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I hope I have not been too fast, because sometimes when I see that lots of slides are left and I have not reached and it's time, I go a little fast. I hope that I have been clear and I have done justice. Yes, Mataji, thank you so much for recognizing the ABCD, which is really, even I have always found the ABCD very special. Amit Prabhu, Ankur Prabhu, Kiran Kumar, Prabhu, Nidhi Mataji, any sharings, any reflections, any feedback for me? Tomorrow I'll be doing 2 chapters because we missed out one day.
Very nicely explained, Mataji. Thank you for your time and your devotion.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for your time as well. Because I need some devotees listening to me so that, I can continue talking about the Bhagavad Gita, which gives me a lot of joy. I just keep praying that I should do justice. Radhe, Radhe, Ankur Prabhu.
So, Mataji, Amit Prabhuji has asked in the chat a question.
Okay.
That Hare Krishna Mataji, how much time Lord Krishna took to deliver all verses of the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah. So from what I remember, it is just 45 minutes, Prabhu. To deliver the on the battlefield, it took him only 45 minutes, because they were very fast at speaking the Sanskrit, which is their mother tongue. Like in those days they would speak Sanskrit. Sanskrit is in fact the language of the gods, they say. It's the simplest and most the best language. So it was super fast, but now if we sit and chant the whole Bhagavad Gita, I think it takes about 3 hours for us, no, Mataji? In the or 1.5 hours it takes, huh?
It takes 3 hours, Mataji.
It takes 3 hours, yeah.
Yes.
With the translation or without translation?
Even without translation, it takes time. Yes.
Yeah. So, from my memory, it is 45 minutes, Prabhuji. I'll just confirm that once more. But it was really fast. In the battlefield, everybody is, waiting there, and Krishna and Arjuna having this long conversation. So in those days, it was, without Arjuna standing up and taking up his Gandiva, the battle was, in halt for some time. Yeah. And it was a super fast conversation.
Actually, I heard like 3 hours, so might be it is
3 hours is for us, Prabhuji.
Okay,
The
okay.
3 hours is for us. Like we take 3 hours. If you want to sit and
Yeah.
chant the whole Bhagavad, so every Ekadashi in ISKCON Mangalore, not only ISKCON Mangalore, several ISKCON temples. I know about ISKCON Mangalore because I am closely associated in terms of following the thing. There are kids chanting, adults chanting, youth chanting. You can also join the chanting group once you practice chanting. And then they start, and then the whole Gita is read by different people in turn. And then they finish in about 3 hours. So for us, in our speed, it is 3 hours. But Krishna did, and Arjuna certainly did not want the same time as we take. It was, much faster.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So I think today we can conclude. I thank you very much for joining me in today's class of chapter 14. And I hope that I have done justice and brought some light to understanding this chapter of chapter 14. We'll do 15 and 16 tomorrow. So kindly join the class tomorrow, same time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. All the best to
Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji.